as a small business owner,
Yeah.
how can I make a content strategy and how is it beneficial for me?
All right. So when it comes to making a content strategy, you got to determine what you will talk about. So that could be the reason that you started your company, right? It could be, first of all, you got to decide, like I said, the reason you started your company. Then you got to figure out who your audience are and why you created that product to suit that specific demographic. Then you got to determine what problems your product or service solves, whether it's Doris Media. We help small businesses digitalize and start an online presence. Your one could be different, right? Also, what makes it easier to really know like your things is write each one down, right? Because when you're just thinking about it like off your head, then you get to like lose track of things. So once you write it all down into like write it on a piece of paper, it becomes easier for you to look and then figure out what is what. And also, right, you got to think about the questions that your potential customers will have before they start asking them. Because when you already are 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of your potential customers, then you're putting out valuable content that it's going to be beneficial for them, that they're going to come when they see your product or service and they're going to be like, okay, now we had this question, this company answered it, so we're going to buy their service or their product because it's solving our problem. See what I mean? Second thing is you got to develop and a lot of times we say quantity over quantity, right? But sometimes quality becomes the reason that you start doing better. And let me just say this: I'm not becoming hypocritical, going back on my word and stuff. No, quality content comes from quantity. Okay, quality content comes from quantity content. I mixed up the two, but yeah, you get me. So when you start putting out a lot of content over time, you will become better at putting better content out, more value and stuff like that. I'll give you me for example. Started out with content that I thought was good, didn't end up becoming good, and then slowly over time I improved and improved and improved, and people started saying, okay, now this is the content. So I realized what kind of content people want and I started putting it out. Because if you look at it this way, right, you're putting out so much content in a day. There's millions of other people putting out the same amount. So, and the stats say that there's about 2.5 million content published every day, right? So you got to make sure that you're putting some time into your content to develop that quality so it stands out from those millions of content. Also, the more, like I said, the more you make, the better. And remember, right? A lot of times you think that, oh, like I don't know what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna write, this that. Think of it this way: you're the expert in the field, so you put out the content that shaped you as a business, that made you where you are. So if you had any problems, any blocks in your way that you fixed, then you're gonna be talking about that because that's gonna provide value. That's gonna prevent people from going through the mistakes that you went through, right? And your audience want to hear from you, so you got to be like, you can't, like a lot of what do you call it? A lot of celebrities get people to write their books for them and stuff. You can't do that. You got to put your knowledge into it so your audience know that it's coming from you. Also, one more thing, you got to demonstrate your expertise through your content, because that way it creates value. That way, like I said before, you got to make content that your audience here is coming from you, because when they hear it's coming from you, they know that, oh, you did this, you went through this that. It's going to prevent them from making the same mistakes, right? And look at it this way: value leads to sales. See? So through a content strategy, when you're putting out content through your strategy, is going to lead to more sales over time, and that leads to also long-term customers, right? But don't expect anything back when you're giving away valuable content, because sometimes you'd be thinking, or this piece of content didn't do well, then that puts you down and stops you from creating more content. And I just want to touch on the last two things, which are create a call to action in your post. This way that it drives the audience, say, to your website, drives them to something that you're giving away. Doesn't always mean that you're gonna be driving your audience to buy something from you. No, it can be an ebook that you've made that's gonna help them out or something like that. And also, last thing, promote your content. Yes, you may be new. Yes, you don't have upfront money to put towards your business. It can be as little as like $20 a day, $10 a day. Use that to promote your content to reach more people, and do it the right way. Don't allow Instagram or Facebook to do just anything that they like.